Hello and welcome to Monkey's Paperpalooza Craft Corner. Today we are going to go on to part 2 of our two-part series on foiling tips and techniques, where we're going to now visit other ways to use your foil other than just the basic foiling techniques. To start, I'm going to talk about your scraps. So when you foil, you get leftover scraps, which for most we think, oh, it's wasted, there's no more use for this. Well, actually there is. You can reuse these pieces until the foil is completely clear. So what it gives you is a fun mercury glass effect. If you've ever seen mercury glass, it has a beautiful rusticy, almost worn metallic appearance with little pieces that look black or sometimes clear, depending on what you look at. So this is some of the pieces I've already made, and I just wanted to show you that fun effect. Now what I did is I took two different scraps that had texture on it and I layered them on top of each other. And I wasn't concerned if some of the black toner sheet showed. That just gave it more of that fun mercury glass effect. So as you see, that was the Tide Pool from Brutus Monroe and the red, Radiant Red for Gina K. And as you see, look at that. Isn't that fun? And here's some more of that. But it does. It gives you a really fun effect. Now, some of these pieces I know are really small. I'll talk to you about what we're going to end up probably using those for later on. But here's some of the panels. Isn't that pretty? And it gives a beautiful, like I said, mercury glass effect. And mercury glass right now is really popular. It's really, if you go into a lot of the home decor design, a lot of the stuff is mercury glass this year. Like even candles, vases, everything. So it's a beautiful effect. That one didn't do as much mercury glass effect to it, but some of these have. And there's another panel. So use your scraps. Don't be afraid to overlap two different patterns. Don't be afraid if the toner sheet's showing underneath it. It's not going to hurt anything. So I have a couple pieces of some leftovers that I want to use up. So I'm going to put through my laminator. And here's this one. This is another piece that has that snowflake design in it. And you see some of it has come through and some hasn't. Now, sometimes your toner sheets just need a little shim to help push it along. And you also, if you feel like your toner sheets have gotten some fingerprints on it, like here's some that I've already used. Look how clear that's gotten. And I just kept on using it till it got clear. So this one has a little bit of fragment we can actually use still. So I might use that on another sheet. Now you've got more on it. So just keep on going until you get your desired effect. You can put it through like a million times if you really wanted to, until you feel like you're good. I'm going to get rid of some of this excess so that it's not as floppy and I get more pressure where it's needed. Go. Send that through again. So like I said, you can keep on using them. Get another piece of parchment paper, and we're going to use up this one. Let this one come through. I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been doing one piece, and I already have some on there, and that is the watercolor, the emerald watercolor. And now I'm just going to put that beautiful title from Brutus Monroe on it. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to put title pool on top of it. And you're going to get a really fun effect. And don't worry, it's only going to stick where the toner is still showing. So I'm going to cut off the remnant of this one too. That way I just have the strip. This one feeds through. So like I said, you just keep on going. I'm going to put a little bit of this because I wonder if some of my oils on my fingers have gotten on this piece. Being that they're smaller pieces, I've handled them more. And these you can use for fun little strips for banners on a card, tags. I'll do the same thing on this one. Use a little bit of my anti-static tool just to get those oils off. But this is a fun technique to use up your scraps and you don't have to have a solid sheet, because in the last video I showed you how to use up scraps on toner, then use another sheet, a fresh sheet. You don't have to do it with a fresh sheet. You could do 2 used up sheets. As long as there's some on there, it'll still stick to the toner. So have fun with it. Do some fun techniques with it. There you go. There's that one. Have fun. I'm going to put a little bit more. Actually, I think I'll do it one more time. I'll do another sheet of used up sheet. Put some more on there. And I think that's the most I'm going to get on that. Maybe I'll put another one of the used sheets. I have tons of little used up scraps that I want to use up, so there's a bigger piece. That'll work better. So you're going to get this really fun, like I said, mercury glass to it, which is really fun. Look at that. Doesn't that look like mercury glass? It's beautiful. Very popular this year, and the effect that you're going to get on your cards are going to be gorgeous. That shim underneath it again. I think that's as much as I'm going to get with that. Isn't that pretty? Alright, so we're done with that piece. I'm going to let this one feed through one more time. Then I'm going to show you on a piece that I did earlier too with the stars. I had made a little tag with the acetate ones with the stars toner on it. So now I have this leftover star piece, and I used it on some plain toner sheet. And sadly, I got a little warped in my machine, so I had to take it out. But I think I'm going to take some of the Brutus Monroe, and you can do little strips too. I mean, if you have tiny little scraps, use them up too that way. There's different ways to do this. Don't be afraid. You'll get some really fun things with this. Like this is the Radiant Red in the Brutus Monroe Tidal Pool, and it's just beautiful. Tidal Pool in Emerald Watercolor, and that is from, as you see, the filigree leftover from this one, from what we did in the last video with the transfer gel. I mean, you can stamp with the transfer gel, get that effect, have your scraps, use them up. Look at that. Have fun with it. See, now I have a little section that didn't take very well in the center, so I'm just going to put one piece on that center part and send it through again. But as long as there's some of that foil left on that clear sheet, you can use it. But we're also going to go, after we're done with this, I'm going to show you some more techniques too. Go. Look at that. That filled that right in and got that beautiful effect to it. And I probably could use that for a tag or something. So let's talk about other techniques. So I wrote some things with my two-way glue, my Zig two-way glue. You can feed it through your thermal laminator if you want, or if you don't have a thermal laminator, you can just use your finger over this glue. Now I will say having a semi removable or tacky glue does work better than a permanent glue, because of course it's going to dry. But the two-way glue stays tacky if not used right away, so it's really fun. So let's just do a little star here. Let's see if I can draw a star. Here we go. Now let that dry. It's blue right now. Let it clear. And as you see, I put foiling is fun. So yes, foiling is fun. So great way to use your scraps too. Now this is a temporary tape runner by Elmer's. It's the dot one. This gives you a really fun effect too. It almost gives you like a fish scale design if you use it. I will say using a permanent runner, not as good. So if you let it sit for a while, you can. When you first apply it, it can be really uber sticky, and of course everything will stick to it. As you see. So not as good an effect. So finding a tacky glue is the key. One that stays tacky, repositionable, removable. Now here's another one. Some score tape, or this is a Scotch double-sided tape. with foil. You can do that also. Watch this. I'll grab a piece and I'll show you. And the fun thing about this is if you did this on a wax paper surface, I'll show you in a minute. Try that again. I'll show you. Once it dries a little bit, it actually does take. When you first apply it, it doesn't. You can actually remove this tape and now you got yourself some foil tape. Isn't that kind of cool? So if you put it on a surface like acetate or something and then laid it down and then pulled it off, you can reuse it. Another technique is foam. So this is sparkle foam. I'm just going to use it. If you had double-sided, this would be better. You can cut this on by hand or on your Cricut or your die cutting machine. And look, now you got a foil heart. Now if that was double-sided, you could stick that to a card. Now our glue on this is mostly dry, so I'm going to use it. Just push it down with your finger. And voila, foiled star. So there are ways to use this if you do not have a laminator. A laminator is not the end all of foiling. Foiling, like I said, is fun. You can do this with a lot of things. Now that I heat set, this I did, you don't see much of a difference. Really, it doesn't make a difference. But you can. So you can write, if you're a really good writer or a very good drawer, and you want to foil your designs, you can. Now, foam, that will give you your own little foam stickers, which would be really fun. I sadly didn't have double-sided, but I did that. Now, stick it on transfer paper and on toner paper, and you make yourself a mercury effect using your scraps. Have fun with foiling. Don't think you have to use one product and one product alone. Let's try Scotch double-sided foam tape. We use this a lot. And you can put it down on there and push it down really good. I'm sure you'll get a good effect. And another thing too is if you do not get a good effect, just stick it back on. And it'll cover that little hole I had. Look at that. Now I got a foam square I could use on a card to decorate. You know, any really non-uber sticky adhesive. A tackier adhesive that's easily removable is the key. So do remember that. Glue dots. All right, so you embellish your card with some glue dots. Take some foil. Look at that instant embellishment. So fun ways to use your scraps. Fun ways to have some fun with this. Double-sided adhesive paper. Now, I would say stick it, not so good. It doesn't really get a really uniform stick to it. But this is one I got from Recollections from Michael's, and it actually is super sticky, but it's also repositionable. And like I said, just keep on going over it with your foil. Look, now I have a double-sided sticker that I could put on a card. So play with your adhesives. See which ones work with some of your scraps. Test it. This is another little tape that I got. It's very similar to score tape. Just pull it off. Score tape does work too. So if you have tons of different whiffs of score tape, you could do a fun effect with stripes of score tape with foil on it. As you see, this one's not sticking as well. It's a little stickier. But you still get the same sort of effect with it. As you see, it does stick very well. Some of them work better than others. But then again, you can also do this fun foiling effect again. And look, you just did the mercury glass effect with just tape. Have fun with it. Fill it in. There we go. Isn't that fun? Same mercury effect that I was showing you on the card thing. So adhesive does work. You don't have to just use toner sheets. You don't have to just use transfer gel. Adhesives work too. Finding the right adhesive that works with the foil is key, because like I've tried stick it and it was a little too sticky, but we're going to try it again. I'm going to stick it to some cardstock and see how it works. I tried a die cut earlier and it stuck to it bad. The reason why is you don't get a consistent, even stick on it, and I think that it will stick to the transfer paper more than it does that. Oh, actually it did a better effect than I thought. So putting it on cardstock, not so bad. Now I wonder if I could fill it in with some more of this, or if it took enough of that foil top. No, it's not sticking. Alright, so you wouldn't be able to do the mercury effect, but you could do some fun effects with it if you wanted to. I think if it's sticky after, then you're good, but I think it pulled off some of the stick it when I pulled off the clear transfer sheet. So let's try this again. Let's put some more big lines of that temporary thing and then do some fun kind of mercury glass effects with it. There you go. Sort of can do it. It's kind of cool. If you use the dot runners, you get kind of the almost a fish scale kind of mermaid kind of effect to it. Now, I will say I would not probably recommend doing your glue dots and then removing them because I feel like they would not stick well. But yeah, have fun with your foils. Oh, I have my Quickie pen too. Let me try that. It's more of a finer line. Probably can get finer stuff in there. Sorry for me getting in the picture. So, the same thing, I would believe you would need to let it dry and get that tacky effect. So while we're waiting for that to dry, let's try a couple other things. Oh, I think we're almost dry. Alright. So yeah, you have fun with it. You look at what I've made with it so far. I've used glue, we use glue dots. There's so many different adhesives. Now let's try that thing. Oh, look at that. And it went through. So temporary hole glues, removable non-permanent tapes work really good. Some more of that Scotch double-sided tape. Let's try a little mercury effect with this. Look at that. I just did the mercury glass effect again. And you could do triple. Do 3 different types. It's fun. Have some fun with it. But yeah, there's ways to use your scraps, ways to use different adhesives to get the same effect as the toner paper. 2-way glue, double-sided tape, foam squares, Quickie pens. I mean, there's so many different ways to have fun with foil. You don't just have to do toner. I mean, transfer gel is fantastic, but still you need that heat to set it. This I didn't need it. You may not own it. Like I said, glue dots, how easy is that? How many of us don't have glue dots? And if you don't get it completely, you can even do 2 different colors. Oh, and see I had a little bit more of that Quickie pen on there. So there. Look at all the fun stuff you can do with this. And save your scraps. Save your little scraps. You never know when you have something small you need to do. But look at that. Isn't that fun, that mercury glass effect? You can see those are part of the Snowflake design. I did with those. And I used it again. So have fun with your adhesive and your foil. Like I said, I would not remove them because it stretches them out. But if you were putting them as an embellishment, I would do it. I don't know if it would do it on the paper. Let's see if it still would stretch out. Yeah, unless you're really good at putting glue dots on. I think once you apply it to your paper, it would be better. Let's try Scotch tape. Not Scotch tape, masking tape. If you had it stuck somewhere. So, I mean, there's so many possibilities. Oops, putting it the right way help. I don't know if it would stick the whole sheet. I mean, I don't know what you would ever use masking tape for, but hey, if you had some on a card or something exposed, you could use that too. So, adhesives. Use your foil transfer sheets until they're gone. Go for it. Have fun. Use it, double it up. Use it 100 times on one piece of toner. Get some fun effects. Like I said, that mercury glass effect is very popular right now. So it's a great way to use your scraps and also do something that's a little more modern and more thing. Now, another way, you can use your scraps like this, or you could take a strip of paper and spray it with some Easy Tack, and you would leave the whole transfer sheet on there, even the clear parts. And you could do some fun watercolor effects under your paper, or if you have a fun patterned paper underneath, you could have some fun with it, glitter paper. But use your double-sided tape because you can't really pull it off. It kind of doesn't stick well. But it's a way to make a card with that too. I've seen that done too. So let's finish this up. Let's talk about what we were able to make with these foils. So these are some cards I made for my personal Christmas cards for this year, for my friends and family. And as you see, there's just that transfer gel and stamped. I kept them very simple because, first of all, I want that glittery background to be the focal point, not the sentiment. So I just put some little polka dot vellum with some little, these are the clear Aurora Borealis 4mm rhinestones. That was pretty. I felt they went really good with the foil that was in the background. There is that Christmas ornament one that came in the last month's Hero Arts kit. The snowflake one, of course, was an add-on to the previous month. And now let's look at these. These are the ones with transfer gel with a stencil. So that was that Waverly Paisley stencil, and that was with the Gina K Radiant. And I put some of my Aurora Borealis pearls with those. Same thing, this is the Tide Pool from Brutus Monroe. And then once again, I use those little Aurora Borealis clear transparent gems. All these supplies I'll list down below again for you guys. And this one is with that Hero Arts embossing powder from last thing with the watercolor, emerald watercolor, and also some more Aurora Borealis pearls in the bottom. And these are some beautiful little gold envelopes I got from a friend, and they are fantastic. They're just little, they fit perfectly a little 4x6 card, which these all are. Now this is the mercury glass effect ones. These I kept really simple too, because I wanted the beautiful colors in the background to show. So I just took some craft cardstock and then put a little craft cardstock flag and some pearls to embellish them. Those are those same Aurora Borealis pearls. And I tried to match the colors in the card with the heat embossing. So I have some of the green gold from Hero Arts, some silver from Hero Arts, and the gold from Hero Arts, just to embellish these. But isn't that beautiful? Look at that fun effect. And they do, they look like mercury glass. And you got this beautiful, glittery, rustic, almost antique look to it. It's just beautiful. I sat there trying to figure out what that effect was called in my head, and then it just came in. It's like mercury glass. That's what it reminds me of. And that's with the Gina K Radiant Red, and I believe that is the shattered glass in the background. And some of these I just stuck because they were on the PeelnStick toner, and others I actually put a layer of foam underneath them. You can see these three I put foam underneath just to give them some raise. But these last two, they were on the PeelnStick, so I just peeled and stuck them onto the card. And look at how pretty that came out with the toner. Now that was the Starry Night transfer sheets leftovers with a little bit of the spiral of the Paisley foil leftovers. So look at that. Isn't that fun? Now there's a way that you can have fun with this and really make your foil go the extra mile. I only use maybe 2 sheets for all these cards per color. So I had 4 colors and I used 2 sheets of each. And I made all these cards plus the other ones from the previous. So, and then I got tons of little scraps left over too. And I'm going to talk about what we can do with the scraps in a little bit. once I show you some more of these, look at those. And these are the 3, of course, with stencil. Aren't they pretty? Like I said, these are going to end up being my personal Christmas cards this year. I was trying to think of what ideas I could do for Christmas cards for my family this year. I always do something different every year. Those are the transfer gel, the stencil, like I said. So very simple, very easy to make. A laminator, stencil and gel, and some foil sheets. These, of course, were stamping with the transfer gel, which is just as fun. And I found when you stamped, you could get different effects depending on how thick you put your gel on. Like this one, I did it really fine, and I sponged it on very lightly, and I got so much more detail than I did in the other one because it was so thin that it just showed only the details of the stamp. And let me give you a closer look of those Aurora Borealis rhinestones. It's fun. And like this one came in a little thicker, so it's a lot more sparkly because I had some thicker parts in the stamping. So look at that. I made all these cards, like I said, with, let's see, 8 sheets of transfer paper, and I have leftover scraps too that I made into smaller pieces so that I didn't waste any of the transfer paper, the transfer foil, or the toner sheets. So look at that. These are just so pretty. So have fun with your foil. Don't be afraid to reuse. Recycling our craft supplies is just as important as recycling plastic or paper. Use up your supplies. Find a fun project that could take both. And you recycled. I recycled all those pieces from those into these. They're beautiful. They're all recycled. Leftovers from when I did the foiling. But they all have their own fun, unique look to them. So have fun. Use up your scraps. Recycle them in this way. And let me show you. I have all these leftover reduced things. I'm going to end up probably making some fun Christmas tags with these and cut them up and have some fun with them. And these I can make little fun sashes for cards with. Like, just think about this one. If you could cut it, or you could fold it in half and just write on it. Isn't that fun? So find ways to use what you have left over. Recycling in our crafting is not a bad thing either. But I am so in love with these cards, and I can't wait to give them out to my family and friends this year. And I'm sure they're going to love every single one of them. Whether they're transfer gel, like these, or toner, using up my scraps in the others. And that's a lot of cards I made. There's about 11 here. 11 cards. So you can get a lot out of very little if you use them correctly. And foiling can be fun as well as not as wasteful as many people think. Just have fun and find creative ways to use your scraps. So if you like this video, please check the last video we uploaded, which is all about foiling, as well as one specially curated for you. And like always, we welcome you to like, subscribe, and ring for notifications with this icon. And check out Instagram, Facebook, and our website for more special fun and deals.